And I literally pull up to the house. He comes out and he like ran out of the house basically. And then someone else comes out and Brittany comes running up to me. What'd you say?
I was bright red and I said I saw a penis.
So.
Hello, welcome to the very first Beauty and Bliss podcast by Brittany. I'm super excited to be here. A little bit nervous, not gonna lie, but here we are. We're gonna start off. The podcast is always going to be about a little bit of beauty, a little bit of bliss. We'll touch on subjects that seem very obscure, both in spirituality, in business, in my life, a whole broad spectrum of things. So I'm really excited to bring this to you today. And I'm here for the very first one with my husband, Andrew Walters, who is joining us to start this off. We're going to talk a little bit about our military career, entrepreneurship, and some new things that we've gotten into as he's transitioned out of the military. So Andrew Walters, my husband, 20-year military vet as a SOCM medic. He now is a combo practitioner as well.
18 Delta.
18
Sorry,
Delta.
18 Delta
Green
is a little
Beret.
different. Yeah, it's a little bit different than a
gosh.
SOCM medic. Had to clarify.
Let's clarify that. Well, how about you tell me what you do? What you do?
Yeah, so 20 years. I just retired in July as a Special Forces medic with 3rd Group. Worked 20 years, came in as a 18 X-ray right out of college, right into the military, and then met you in
2013.
Met you in 2009, and then we started dating in 2013. Got back from a deployment. Friend put us on a double date.
A double date that I didn't know that I was going to be on, actually. And he showed up to my house while I was at work, went to my pool and showered, and then I was picked up on a double date I didn't know I was going to be on.
And she told me she would never date a military guy again. And now, 12 years later, we've been married for 9 of those.
We've been married for 10 years now. Well, it depends on what we... Yeah, we got married in 2015 on paper, but had a wedding.
Prior to a deployment, got married, and then 2016 was the official marriage that we had here in town at Studio 215.
Studio 215. We were one of the very first couples, actually.
Yeah, good job.
Go us.
But yeah, SOCM medic is a little bit different than an 18 Delta. We have to clarify.
All right, let's clarify it.
I'm very proud of my career.
Very proud of your career. Well, let's talk about your career first. I guess we can talk about your career first.
On your podcast, you could go first. We could talk about your career that I've been kind of
so a part of.
With. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I started my beauty business in 2015. Mm-hmm. I was a full-time marketing coordinator before that. And
when we first started dating.
Yep. And when I moved in.
Yeah.
And then that path kind of took us down a new road. Started off in my house doing spray tans and hair and makeup. And in 3 months, you were like, please get out. Just get out.
So with that, she basically worked at a country club. She, when we first started dating, I would drive all the way up to Garner almost every single night.
Yeah, I lived like an hour away.
I'd leave an hour early just so I could get into work, so I could stay with her. And then you moved in 2013, started a new job, and then you started your beauty business.
Yeah.
So she was doing spray tans in the house, very skeptical at first.
Are you going to tell the story?
So very skeptical at first. And then I remember coming home one day, and a guy comes out, this Jack dude, so he's like 6...
With his wife.
With his wife. He came out first, though, like 6'2", 6'3", 220, like muscled out dude. And I literally pull up to the house. He comes out, and he like ran out of the house, basically. And then someone else comes out, and Brittany comes running up to me. What'd you say?
I was bright red and I said I saw a penis.
So he was getting tanned. They were both getting tanned for a
bodybuilding competition. And with a bodybuilding competition, you do not want to have clothes on so that there are no lines. But that was
So that was my intro into, hey, I'm starting a new job, and my wife just saw someone's penis, which was very exciting.
But generally, we do make men wear bottoms when they get spray tans. So, but yeah, I was in the house spray tanning for a couple of months, still working at my marketing job at the same time. Mm-hmm. Left that and transitioned and full time, went into a 500 square foot studio space that we built out with my parents and your dad.
Yep.
And started off there. I was still working odd jobs too. I worked at Press.
Yep.
I was a princess. I was Elsa. I wasn't a princess. I was the queen.
Yeah. You are very Elsa-like. So
Yeah.
that first couple of years were a little interesting to
Transition
on
from
my
having
side,
a full-time marketing pay
into
to
you just doing the hustle and
the
doing whatever you
hustle.
could. A lot of doubt on my side because it was financially a step away of kind of what we were looking at.
I
but
know, and then entrepreneur life literally since then 10 years is just the same thing.
Yeah.
Still to this day, you just never know what that's going to look like. So, but I was in that space for 3 years. We gained a lot of momentum, opened up the second space, had to actually do a really big build out. That was fun.
2,000 square feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
You learned a
employees.
lot from my dad building that out.
Yeah. So background, I knew how to build things. Being downrange, we'd have to build fobs and build buildings, things like that. So that stuff was fairly easy. But learning plumbing, electrical, like what pillars we could take down,
Yeah.
flooring. That was my first experience with flooring there.
Oh my gosh.
Painting, which is my nemesis.
You despise to
I hate painting because she's very particular in how she wants it done. So I would leave streaks.
Yeah, you
So-
have to paint the right way. Haley, my cousin, is over there literally rolling her eyes right now because she understands because she's painted this 20,000 square foot building.
So 500 into 2,000 into
20,000.
20,000 our new
Yeah,
space
so
here.
we just kept 10xing basically
Yeah.
the building space. I'm going to bring up something though that like you gave me the money for the second build out, which was what, like $18,000?
It was a lot, yeah.
It was a lot. It was from a re-enlistment. I know.
Yeah. But
and
it was
I think the hardest thing though was like I thought I was going to be able to pay that back, and then COVID happened.
But I look at that, it's investing in you. Like, sorry, we're gonna get personal.
Let's get that's
Yeah.
the point of the whole
So-
podcast is to get personal.
It's investing in you, which is return wise, I'm not worried about that. So to see who you are prior to, you weren't happy when you were working at the country club. You were coming
No.
home and
Crying,
dealing with people that were kind of holding you back a
Yeah.
lot. And then you into an entrepreneur, you're completely different. You still have the emotional swings, but you have more freedom. You have more decision-making capability.
Yeah.
Your energy level is completely different. The scope of what you do and how wide it is now compared to kind of
Oh
being...
yeah, because think about this. Like when you were interning this year with us for 6 months, we went to a business meeting that we sat down on, and that was the first time you saw me in an actual professional business setting. What did you tell me when we got home?
I don't remember. So I remember I don't remember specifically what I said, and I'll blame that
But
on
what
the
did you-
years of concussions.
Years
but,
of concussions, yeah. What did you
I
think,
remember
though?
I was just extremely impressed because I never saw that side of you.
Yeah.
You would come home, you'd work, I'd be out at work and come home, and I had very limited interaction with business Brittany.
Yeah.
I had wife Brittany.
Networking, we'd go
Yeah.
network, but that's still a
And
different...
that's a different, yeah.
yeah.
I remember just being completely. I remembered. Wow, I don't remember what I specifically said, but it was nice to see that part of you.
Yeah. And you were like, that was kind of hot. And
Okay, we're gonna open it up to that. Okay, yeah, I probably said that's very sexy. Yes. So seeing her in a business role like that. Okay.
yeah,
It's that type
it's
of
fine.
podcast. Okay.
It's literally we're just getting real. But yeah, I think that after we came from that meeting setting and you seeing me, like, what did you feel like? Did you think that we now, because this big building, we went into 20,000 square feet and it's been
This
a little
was-
rocky.
This was rocky. I think so. Some of the rockiness started with COVID.
Yeah.
So that hit everyone. Even in the military, I remember it sucking for me. That's when I started having. It was during. No, I had
you
migraines.
before.
Yeah, I had migraines right before. So that was just a bad time for us, kind of overall.
Yeah.
So migraine aspect.
You
Segue
wanna-
into that. Yeah, real quick. No.
Do you want to? Yeah, we can segue into that. You want to talk about this building real quick?
Yeah.
You want to talk about this building first?
It's your podcast. You tell me what you want to talk about.
Well, no, I was just going to finish this out with the 20,000 square foot building that you learned so much stuff here.
Yeah.
The flooring, the walls, all the things, and the fact that this was a huge leap. When we were looking at it, I was really nervous and really wanted to make sure that you wanted to do this because the scope of this was going to be so huge.
There was that level of support was always there.
Yeah.
So it was daunting going from 500 to 2,000 to 20,000. You have 60, 50 some rooms here.
Yeah, I think it's like
Haley, 50.
56 rooms.
56, yeah. 56 rooms. That's a lot.
You floored most of those.
Yes. The scope of learning how to pull carpets, like Googling, okay, I need this tool for that. It was a lot of labor of love involved in that.
It was a labor of love.
Your dad was down here for that too.
Yeah.
I still love the photos of the
before photos?
The before and after, what we turned this place into. So this is, you basically took over the unemployment office and turned it into, I tell everyone, the employment office.
Yeah.
So you have how many people here now?
We have probably, oh my gosh, we never remember this number. It's got to be roughly like 25.
So
27.
From the originally you didn't have any. No, you had.
I had some help. Yeah,
you had some help,
and yeah.
But then the 2,000 square foot, we had
renters,
4 or 5 at a time.
And then 2 employees. Yeah.
Yeah, you had the OGs that were there,
Yep,
and then Haley.
Yeah.
Haley who came down. Yeah. And then Haley came down and stayed with us.
Yeah.
To this, which is it's a lot of unknowns.
It is it's still a lot
scary.
of unknowns.
Yeah.
You know, as we're building this out, it's definitely taken a little bit longer than the expectation.
But you have to look at it's 20,000 square feet. It's massive.
We bit off an elephant.
Yeah. That's a weird way to say it.
I
But
know.
yeah.
Well, isn't there that saying that, like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time?
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah. The way that I put that at first, though, didn't work.
You have to be careful. Brittany she'll confuse some of her sayings sometimes. I forget
That's what's going to be fun about having a podcast is sometimes it's not going to make sense, and that's okay. It's Brittany-isms. We'll just say that.
Brittany-isms? Okay.
Yeah. I think it makes sense. But, and during I guess since 2018, since getting the second building is when you started having your migraines. And so, like, we will transition into the migraine space because I think that's been a lot of the last 7-ish years of our lives.
It drives a lot of us where we are now, too.
It does drive our why and what we're doing. So in 2018, and it was 2019 that they started.
2019, yeah.
So you came back from Africa,
yeah,
right?
Came back from Kenya, probably about 2-3 months after coming back from Kenya. Working out at work, had a massive migraine, first one in my life. Never had any issues like that before. We treated it that day, came back about 2 weeks later, same issue. And then that second time, from then on, it was wake up to go to bed.
Yeah.
Constant pain.
Yikes.
And that changed a lot of our dynamic, too, as our relationship. So it was 3 years almost of going through that, working with Army medicine to try and diagnose what was causing it, being on all sorts of pain medications, abortives, beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, Reiki, reflexology. I kind of exhausted.
A colonic
too. So
trying to figure out because we didn't know if it was like parasites from Kenya when you got back or
it was going through everything that was medical, ruling out kind of step by step because migraines. You go and see someone. I know a lot of people have them, and it's frustrating because medicine, you have a broken bone, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Migraines, you go talk to a neurologist, and they say we don't know what causes this.
Yeah.
That is extremely frustrating, especially for someone who's very trauma-oriented in our job. Our job is to help people and find out the cause, treat it, find out this medicine works, this one doesn't. And going through 2-3 years of that.
It was so...
For me, it was horrible.
For me, it was...
And then for you, yeah.
It was really challenging.
And I've apologized. We've talked about it. We're very open with this.
We are very open with this because not only were you the irritability and the anger from the migraines, you started to experience operator syndrome too, where you really weren't present in situations, and you were just in this fight or flight all the time. So you would walk in the door and I would know whether or not my spidey senses, I would know whether or not that you were going to be in a bad mood. Most of the time you were just coming home and being like, I'm taking a nap. And you'd go right to sleep and I wouldn't see or hear from you for several hours. Now, granted, I was working a lot too. So it was one of those things that, I just continued to work during that time, but it was frustrating and it was sad, and I really felt on edge pretty much the entire time.
I didn't realize this until they stopped. Because when you're in pain, you're worried about yourself, you're worried about what's going on. You don't think a lot of times about the people that are around you. And it was like, looking back now, I could see it where it was, I would come home, I would be angry, I'd be frustrated because I don't know what's causing this. I would be quick to snap, quick to anger. And it took its toll on the relationship. There was basically, you verbatim almost said, hey, you're either going to get this fixed or we're going to get a divorce, kind of.
Well, I think there was one time, I think it was in early 2020 or early 2021. I can't remember what year that was. But we were up at either Duke or Chapel Hill, and you had to go through a process, an exploratory. What was it?
It was so I had a lumbar
tap,
right? I had a
right?
lumbar puncture up in Duke, and then I remember coming out of that, and typically you could get an increased pressure from that spinal tap, and number one, it's frustrating when you know something's wrong, and it's more frustrating when people don't believe you something's wrong. So I had one of those 10 out of 10 after doing the lumbar puncture. And I remember the nurse came in and I was just like, doctor. And I was like, I'm in immense pain. They're like, no, you're fine.
And you yelled at them.
I don't remember yelling, but I probably did. Like, I was angry. I was irritated. I remember I've done a lot of weird things with surgeries.
Well,
and stuff like that.
and coming out of things, but that wasn't one of them. You were just really angry. And we were on the way home and you just lost it. And we were driving about like an hour and a half. It's
frustrating when you continue to get treatment and you're like, okay, you put your hopes in, hey, they're going to find out. I'm going to go to one of the best hospitals. I'm going to go talk to this doctor who's awesome. And it's, we still don't know.
I think that was like a defining moment in that time, though, because I had taken off, I feel like, the whole weekend to be with you. And then it was just like this explosion in the car. We got home, and then you were like, I'm going to leave for the weekend.
Is that when I went up to D.C.?
Yeah, you left, and I was just like, I felt like in that moment, I was like, ooh, let me close my heart down to never feel this way again. And we've talked about it before because I think that was such a defining moment for both of us. You went and kept wanting to call and talk to me, and I was like, no, sir. Like, you left, I'm just going to, I think I redid my website that weekend.
But it is, and looking back, I'm glad we got to go through that. So being able to understand, number one, like, the biggest thing is I'm not the only one that's out there. Guys in our community very rarely talk about the negativity that they have in their life. Everything's on the up and up.
How many deployments have you been on? Has it been like 9?
A bunch. So,
a bunch?
Yeah, a lot.
I think it's 9.
Yeah, my favorite thing is I've lived in Afghanistan for like 4 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time to be in those moments.
Yeah. But it was, I'm glad you stuck with us. So there's a lot of Team Walters and making us, I supported you. I need your support.
And that is true.
So.
You did support me. And even during the whole process of you having migraines, you still were showing up to so many things and you were still being the most supportive husband. And so many people didn't know that we were struggling like when we were at home. And
that's very operator.
I think, and we both have that.
Yeah.
We both, we can turn it on and turn it off really easily. I think it's just something that we have. But all of it led us to what, we've been doing now is, and you went to go get training for, was combo.
Yeah. And that was because of you.
And that was because of me.
And I've thanked you multiple times for it.
Yeah. And combo is something when we tried so many things, and I kept throwing things at you to try because I healed my fibromyalgia with going gluten-free after so many years. So I just knew that there was going to be something that would help, and it was out there. I have journal entries pretty much for 2 years straight that says that you are going to be migraine free. We're going to live in alignment. We're going to have each other's back. There's so many journal entries that talk about this, and it happened. Combo came into our lives.
It came into your life.
Well, into
first,
my life
so
first.
How did you find out about
How
combo?
did I find out? Okay, so I went on a plant medicine retreat in 2018. I was invited by my friend Casey. And it was so interesting because I had went home to Ohio, and I had accidentally left my SSRIs there. So I was on Zoloft at the time. And I left them there. I came back, and I was asked if I wanted to go on this plant medicine retreat, but you can't be on SSRIs. So it was like...
Perfect.
Perfect timing. I was like, okay, I can do this. So I went on an ayahuasca retreat, but what you do before that is that you do combo. And so that was my first experience with combo. I got my little dot. They were only it was a full ceremony, and I only had one. I did not purge, and we'll talk about more of what that is. But I remember feeling lightning in my hands, and like I kicked off my boots and my hands are like going up like this because I was like, oh my gosh, what is this going on in my body? So yes, I was exposed to combo there, did ayahuasca, and then 2 years later did the same retreat with the same group of people where I met Air, who is our combo practitioner, and she'll be on the podcast eventually too. And because she went on that retreat, she went and experienced combo and became a practitioner. So fast forward a year and a half later, because this is in 2022. 2023 in September, you came home and I came home. I have such great memory with dates.
I'm horrible.
I know.
Good for you. I like it. You're my little Rolodex of information.
Little Rolodex. So in 2023, September, I was on a trip. You were on a trip. We came home, and I said, I'm really excited that we're going to be working on all of this. And you said, I would like a divorce. Oh. And that was 2 months prior to us, you getting combo.
That was before combo?
That was before combo. Yeah, that was 2 months prior. And so, in that moment, we were like, something's got to give. And I was praying. I was meditating on this. I was journaling this. And I think that is when combo, swooped in and said, you guys aren't done. We're going to...
Was it September or was it?
It was September.
August.
No, I know for a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So we've talked about this. So 2013, 2020.
It was 2016. So in June
when
is
was
generally
our first fight? In June.
The year after your mom passed.
Okay. So mother passed 2016.
In August. And then it's generally every July since she's passed he questions our entire existence together as a couple.
Basically, so mother passed. I was home during it. Me and family were there for she passed. The following year, I think we kind of had an argument around August or July. It was
July,
August time frame. So it was almost every single year. So
I went back and looked at the text messages because
we didn't realize this until, was it this year?
It was 2 years. It was 2024, and then I started looking back and being like,
what is
every year you kind of go through this, and
it was. I don't know if it was so when the mother passed, it was horrible. I kind of. Not regress. I just kind of
You held it all in. You didn't cry. You came home and slept for a month. You didn't talk.
I never processed the emotions.
Never processed it.
It was very the medical brain of shut down. It's what the military trained me to do.
Yeah.
You see death. You see people die. All right, bury that and then move on.
Well, and I think that it goes to show that how emotions, if you store them inside, can bring out physical problems. And so it manifested in all of these emotions that you just kept inside, then manifested into.
I don't know. Yeah, something
everything.
Must have, every year around that anniversary, I would go through this like midlife crisis where
Every
I was
year.
like, what am I doing?
This year you
like,
didn't.
Yeah, this year we were really good.
Because you figured it out. But yeah.
Anyway, so the divorce, this close to it,
Yeah.
led us into air coming down.
She came down in December of 2022.
Me doing combo for the first time.
Yeah.
Which,
Or 2023.
for me, it was, I've tried everything. I put tubes up my butt to try and figure this out.
It's called a colonic,
It's
and
called a
they
colonic,
actually,
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people do them. But
Yes, but-
it was an intimate thing for you to do.
And it's trying to get help. Nothing helps, so let's try this. I
Yeah.
didn't think there was going to be anything with it, and we did it Friday, I think. We did
Friday,
it
Saturday, and Sunday. We did 3 ceremonies
Sunday,
back to back.
and it was a blast.
Your life was forever changed. Our lives were
100%.
forever changed.
Our lives, yeah. The brain fog that was there, the migraines went away for 8 weeks, I
Yeah.
think, for the first time. I felt like I was like
You're
25 again.
so much lighter. Like even driving in the car was
Oh, my
better.
gosh.
We went to Christmas that right afterwards because this was in December, and it was the best Christmas that we had ever had because that's always a challenging time. But
So it was life altering because going through all that pain, having all that cloudiness, that brain fog I had there,
Yeah.
I couldn't process
Well-
anything. I couldn't multitask. And then first time we do this, and everything was gone.
yeah,
And it was, okay, this is what life is. I don't have to deal with that. So I could actually have a good life now. And it was absolutely amazing. So
it was amazing. So tell us what combo practitioner.
yeah.
Tell us what combo is. So you went in May of this year, 2025, and to
So-
become a practitioner.
Yeah, I basically, first time we did it, sold me on it. Migraines did come back the first time.
Yep.
Air would come back up and we'd do it again.
Basically every quarter.
Every quarter she would come up and we'd constantly do it, and I'd constantly get that relief and feel
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. And then we opened it up to other vets as well too.
Mm-hmm.
We had some guys in my community come out and try it as well too. And then right before I retired in July of 2025, it was May.
You went in May.
I decided to go get the training. So I went down to Peru through the IAKP, International Association of Combo Practitioners. Got to stay out in a hut right in the jungle. It was
So
awesome.
crazy.
Learned how to apply it, and then I brought it back. June was a little slow. Started practicing, and then.
But what is it? Tell us what it is.
So what combo is? Basically, there's a frog down in the Amazon, Medusa bicolor. It's a
Yep.
giant Amazonian monkey tree frog.
It's
So,
really cute.
yeah, it fits about the size of your palm. Has very long legs. Lives in the trees. Just kind of crawls around. So the frog will secrete peptides that naturally protect it. So we say snake will come along, swallow the frog. The frog will secrete the peptides. Snake will throw that frog back up, and then frog goes on its way. So no natural predators. This thing is absolutely amazing. So when I did this, I was working for Group Med. I was working directly under a neurologist, and you can't go to a neurologist and say,
This
"Hey,
frog healed me.
yeah, this frog, like he was doing lumbar punctures. We were trying everything, but this frog did heal me." So
Yeah.
I had to bring back the science behind it.
Yeah.
So they did an awesome job teaching and then kind of deep diving further and further into it. It boils down to the secretions contain 17 different peptides. Those peptides do everything from pain. They bind to opioid sites. They're dermaceptin, which is skin, antimicrobial,
They
bacterial.
do make your face look nice.
Yeah. Anti-parasitic, fungal. They cross the blood-brain barrier.
Which is huge in medicine. Like, not
It
many
is.
people understand what that means and, like, why that's a really big deal. So, can you explain for the people that would not understand why that's a big deal?
Very basic of it is your brain needs to protect itself to make sure certain things can't get into it. Otherwise, you're going to have infections, and once it gets to the brain, you're kind of done for.
And most
it's not the best.
medicines don't cross
Most
that.
medicines do
Okay.
not do that. It's very selective that the permeability of the blood-brain barrier of what it allows to cross. And 3 of these peptides have that ability to go, yep, I'm going to come in here and say hi for a little bit.
Hey.
So, and that helps with the anger, the anxiety, the depression that we see. And that was that calming mood.
Yeah.
So I always describe to people Fayetteville, like horrible drivers. I love Fayetteville, but the lanes are too short or too narrow.
Yeah.
So when I'm driving, people cut you off or they're in your lane, you're constantly on the horn. So once you do combo, it has that calming effect. So someone cuts you off now and you're like, I'll get home 30 seconds later. So, and you like that because you think I'm a crazy driver.
Well, I've been in 3 car accidents, and it gives me a little anxiety when you're driving like a...
But yeah, so combo, basically, you introduced it to me, absolutely saved my life, saved our life, and we're now basically kind of giving that back to the community.
We are. Now, tell us how you administrate combo?
Combo is applied dermally, so we can't ingest it. What we do is we apply a small gate, a little burn to the skin. We reconstitute the sticks that come from the Amazon.
Yeah.
We get a little peptide bundle. Bundle goes on the skin. It's absorbed through the lymphatics, makes its way systemically, and then kind of goes and does its business with these little peptides that build up into things and have their own little reaction through your system. But since we've been doing it today, we do micro point ceremonies, basically, where you only get 5 minutes of the medicine, and you get to experience the heat, the flush that happens without having to experience the purge. And that's part of combo too. If you're doing a full ceremony, is that you're generally purging up water during it after a 12-hour fast. So nothing's coming up other than water. But with a micro point, you just get that little bit of spiciness, and you get to hear the first date. You get to hear your heart going, and your ears and in your chest beats a little bit higher. You feel the flush. And so, but then you take it off before it goes before
anywhere.
It goes kind of down to the stomach, and you get that smooth muscle contraction.
Yeah. So we were with 19 individuals,
which is a lot, but it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It keeps growing too,
it does, because once you experience this, you can't deny that it doesn't work. So it's funny because you really looked at all of my woo-woo stuff, or like when I was doing plant medicines, you were always so supportive, which was beautiful. I did go to my first plant medicine experience not really telling you what I was doing and being like, hey, I'm doing ayahuasca this. You were deployed. So
you've been doing plant medicines for years, and I was actually really excited because this was the first introduction into I had my very science base, you had your very woo-woo or spiritual, and then you allowed me to kind of experience that, and I feel like I've taken over that aspect.
You've taken over that aspect, yeah.
But yeah, it was, I will say, once I was fully trained, Brittany fought me on me being allowed to apply combo to her for the first time. So, which is pretty messed up. So
no,
I trusted you with this business. I trusted you with everything, and you couldn't trust me with combo.
Okay, well, let's break this down. One, because I am used to air and she is used to me, and I feel like I don't sit with combo like everyone else sits with combo. I move a little bit more. I do different things. And and I feel like on a spiritual level, which we're about to get to, is like you hadn't experienced some of the things that I've experienced, or the empathy or the connectivity of the universe and different things. So like I was not knowing if your combo would meet my spiritual essence that goes through combo when I'm doing it.
Yes.
And I had already had a appointment set with Air Up, and so I was like, well, I'll just wait, because it's not something that, like, it's not the most comfortable experience. And so it's one of those things that...
But is it worth it?
It's 100% worth it.
Yes.
And I will say that I consistently do it. I've done it 16 or 17 times because it has helped with my hormones, my ADHD, depression, brain fog, clarity.
Did you say PMDD?
My PMDD, which I hit an all-time low at times, and now it's like not as bad, but it's still there.
It's more manageable.
And I think that... Yeah, but I still was just a little nervous because you weren't in the spiritual, like, energy that I have been in with other practitioners.
And I agree with that. I was never very spiritual. You are...
Well, I grew up.
You weren't really when we first started dating either, and you have shifted since we started dating.
I definitely have shifted. I think because I grew up in a private school since the time I was 5, and I went to a private Methodist college, grew up Lutheran, Methodist college. Like, I've always had that spiritual base. Now I guess you could say, like, I'm very broad with all different things that I explore, because that's led me to this path. And now I think it's leading us to a path that helps so many. But I think I've always had that, like, spiritual essence within me, like the Holy Spirit within this little light of mine.
So, introduce me to Combo.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Sapo?
Yeah, we'll talk about Sapo. So we got introduced to Combo, have been doing that. Andrew went to training. It was really funny because we were like, okay, how is this going to get out there? Who do we know that are going to be interested in Combo? Where is this network going to come from? We weren't really necessarily advertising it big at Blissful or Sunshine, but we were kind of dropping it in. Yeah. And then my birthday, I sat that weekend, the air was there, and I was sitting in our backyard.
Oh, in the backyard, manifesting.
In the backyard. I was just sitting there with Air, our combo practitioner, and Andrew would come out, and I'd be like, you know what? It would just be really nice to be able to do spouse retreats and veteran retreats, and wouldn't it be nice if we just connected with someone, and this could be so much easier, and not have to do it by ourselves, because of owning a business, 2 businesses, and doing it from the ground up is so challenging. So I was like, I don't really want to do this from the ground up. I would love to be a part of something. So
I will say Brittany has this amazing ability, and it's rubbing off on me, to manifest things.
Yeah.
So you basically were out at the fire, you put this out into the universe, and you were like, I want to run a spouse program. I want to help the military vets. And that's something, the spouses specifically.
Yeah. And because in reality, people don't understand that we're literally, like, have the hardest job in the military. Sorry, I had to say it.
So we joke about it. You have the bumper sticker. The military wife is the hardest job in the military.
Yeah.
But it was... I didn't realize this until after
the secondary
Combo.
PTSD too.
The secondary PTSD, when I would come home with the migraines and I'd have that anger, that irritability, everything was washing off onto you.
Yeah.
As soon as I would come in the door, you go into work, and military guys do this. I know specifically in my soft community, at work we put on this happy face, everything's fine, and then we go home, and that's our kind of safe space.
Yeah. So
we don't treat the guys in the team room the same way that we treat our spouses or significant other. And it was kind of eye-opening to have you tell me that, where it was like, hey, look, your PTSD is giving me PTSD.
Yeah.
And I never realized that until a couple of years ago.
And now there's actually a lot of studies that are showing what it does.
And it's the importance of not only, so the military is very focused on treating the operator, because that's their asset. That's what they pay. Yeah. You're the soldier. You're owned by the military. The spouse, okay, hey, you're kind of here for the ride. They don't do a lot towards the spouses, but it was seeing the effect that everything that I had done or had happened to me and how it affected you was huge. So you doing the female manifesting this out into the world out by our little portal of a fire that we have there. So that was within... That was just in July. It was within like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
It was in 1 week that after we were sitting there, you got contacted by someone. Was it Jeff that contacted you?
So I contacted Jeff. So I got back from training. You had already manifested, threw this out into the universe. And as soon as I get back, I was talking with one of the guys at work, and he's like, hey, man, there's another combo practitioner in town. So I got his number. I reached out. Jeff said basically, hey, we're doing something. Come out here, witness this. Yeah. I was sold from day one. Watching kind of the military does a really good job at, the military tries to do a really good job at holistic medicine. So they have the right intentions, but in my opinion, it's not practiced the right way. Seeing Jeff and what he had created
with Team Sapo,
with Team Sapo was absolutely amazing. It was everything that was needed that the military kind of got wrong in a certain extent. So reached out to him, got to witness that. We went to, we did combo ceremonies at his house. Yeah. And that was the first time you met him. And it was...
Well, let's stop and talk a little bit about Team Sapo. So Team Sapo is an organization, a 501c3. So they do things a little bit differently when they run plant medicine retreats pretty much for operators. Right now, we're about to branch off into spouses. And so what is different about this organization is that it's not like, hey, let's get you all together, have you experience one weekend, but just now you're out on your own. So what is amazing about this is the integration, beforehand, you have 6 weeks of calls with your group, your cohort, plus having a therapist that you're talking to week after week, leading you up to this experience instead of just throwing you in. Here you go,
And the big thing with that is it was someone with experience that you could open up to.
Yeah.
So when I went through Intrepid Spirit was nice, but it was my visits with the psych there was showing up to a 22-year-old, dress up as Harry Potter, asking me, hey, have you ever felt like you were threatened? And it was like, I lived in Afghanistan.
All the time.
That was
when
my
I woke
job.
up in the morning, someone was trying to kill me.
Yeah. So there's no connection there. And then instantly from day one, you're going into this with people with that same lived experience, individuals. And the scientific background that they brought to it was absolutely amazing. That was something that spoke specifically to me.
Which I have been trying to tell you for years, that there was science behind everything that I was doing, and you were like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
It was so absolutely amazing experience. I was sold on day one. We ended up doing the retreat with them, and then basically I kind of got sidelined. And you started taking over. So,
well, I'm going to be the director of the spouse program, and so we'll do the same thing, but for the spouses.
Which is 100% needed, and it's absolutely amazing. The way they describe it is, if I'm on a diet and you come home with a pizza every day, how successful is that diet going to be?
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work, and military doesn't necessarily understand that. They try to do their best with spousal supports and retreats and everything like that. They have tried. But to incorporate your other half in this, it's so much more important to do that. So
you just went in October. A month ago.
Yeah.
You went a month ago to experience something very brand new for you, and you experienced a full plant medicine retreat that was more than just combo, because you had already been sitting with combo for a year and a half, gotten multiple points, but this is something completely different. So what you did was you started off with combo, and then you did bufo, which is 5-MeO DMT. Sorry, I cannot say that.
5-MeO DMT.
Thank you. And then psilocybin.
And psilocybin. Yeah. So the scientific thought process behind this is combo is that cleanse prior. So you go into it, you kind of clean everything out, and then you elevate with the bufo, and then the reintegration with the psilocybin on the backside. And I've never done 20 years in the military. We have to take drug tests.
Not doing any of that stuff.
Worried about my career and everything like that, but absolutely mind-blowing.
Game changer.
Yeah, I talked to them, and they're like, oh, you're going to peek behind the curtain. And it was 100%. I got to, peek behind the curtain, kind of see
It's wild, isn't it?
It was absolutely amazing.
So why don't you explain what it was like to do bufo, which I've experienced it too, and so we'll talk about it a little bit.
The medicine behind it is so it's serotonin. So it's the God particle. It's the ego death that you have. So combo is not like that at all.
Not at all.
It's non-psychotic or psychedelic. You're present in everything, and bufo is the exact opposite of that.
You're going to space.
Yeah. So my experience with it, it was kind of nice. So I got to. I'm extremely analytical. So there's a couple people who went before me that day, and then as I was walking up to the gazebo, I got to look at them, and you could see almost like an energy shift between certain individuals who are kind of like closed down, and then they are just beaming.
Heart wide open.
It was like we were 20 feet away from one of the guys, and you could see, you're like, something's different with this guy. He is just like glowing. So as I'm walking up there, I see him, I see another guy, and you could tell he's kind of like...
A little nervous?
No, he was...
this is afterwards?
No, this is as I'm walking up there. So one guy, you're like, he's different. He loved it. The other guy I look at, and he's like trying to hide it, and you just see this like crack of a smile, and I was like, okay, I'm safe.
Yeah.
So went up there, you experience the medicine. So First experience was, and we got in an argument.
We literally got in an argument the week prior, which they're like, please don't argue with your spouse. Like, they talk to us about, like, do not argue with your spouse before going into these retreats because it's important not to. However, because I had done plant medicines a couple times, not a lot, but at least a couple, that I was like, hey, set an intention, have something that grounds you, have something that holds you, like, go into it knowing that you need to surrender and have an intention. And you're like, please just let me have my own experience. And I was like, fine.
I wanted to be my experience. And I know Brittany has done this a couple times before. And the first time I went up there, I told individuals there, I was like, oh, yeah, this is what my wife experienced. And it was funny talking with another 18 Delta, and he was like, oh, no, this is not.
But it can be.
Yes, it can be. So
with the right intention.
And so her experience was pure love. I talked to the other individual, and his experience was like, oh, no, I was middle of the earth. I drowned. I died. And I was like night and day difference. So talking with her the week prior, I was like, hey, let's just minimize the talk about it because I'm going to go in. This is going to be my experience. I kind of want to I want to experience it. I don't want it to be like placebo affected and your experience alter my experience, but I'm glad I did. And I told you that, so I can apologize when I need to. So basically we did the medicine and it was her experience and it was pure love. I remember laying there and just the like white light was just hitting me. It was absolutely amazing. I kind of came out of it for a second and I was like, this is amazing. Lady behind me hit the gong and Bong. I went right down into round 2. And round 2 was extremely emotional. So intention for me was basically 20 years of being a soft operator. I'd locked everything down. All those emotions. I very rarely showed emotion with you. Always in control, never letting go. Mother passed, it was the same thing. I think I cried for maybe 5 minutes and then right back into kind of like operator medic mode. So this was set the intention, let's get rid of this. And it was absolutely beautiful. White light. I saw my mom. She basically told me everything was fine. I remember hugging her a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not an emotional person, but since I've done Bufo, it's like someone opened the floodgates and emotions are always there now. So, but I remember,
you got to see your mom.
It was amazing. And she was, everything's fine. I'm good. Like, let it go. And I just remember laying on the thing, just sobbing. And it was the most amazing thing in the world to have that kind of reunion and that closure and that openness with it to just wide open. So I had that experience. Third one, I kind of came to a little bit, and I was just bawling, happiest I've ever been in my entire life. I got the best
pictures of him that day.
And then I went back in, and that's where I got to kind of peer behind the curtain and see everything that's here that you normally don't experience. And I remember coming out of that just absolutely, I was pissed. So I was pissed off.
In a good way.
Yeah, I remember telling Jeff and Sean, and I was like, basically like, why didn't you guys have me do this before? Because it's so enlightening to kind of see what else is out there, and it's there, and I got to peak, and I wish I would have done it earlier.
Well, and we talked about you coming on a retreat before, and I said no, because those are my safe space and my people that I was like, do not bring your need for analytical thinking within my beautiful little plant medicine bubble of people. And I always did say, you are going to do it, and when you do it, it's going to be probably with your people, surrounded by people that really...
It was the perfect environment. So Team Sapo absolutely changed us. And then I came back from that experience. Brittany got to meet Team Sapo individuals at a party. And then I'm still there, pushed to the side. But Brittany...
Yeah, but I want to talk more about your DMT experience.
Okay.
And how it really did change now how you even do combo. Because I feel like afterwards when you had mentioned, like, you got to peek behind the curtain and see more. What does that mean to you?
So in the ceremony, The third time I kind of went back down into it, I remember looking up and seeing this tree, and it was kind of like Matrix-y.
Yeah.
Whereas I see white from the tree down to the roots, through the ground, up into the individuals that are around me. And it was just that interconnectedness that we're all in it together.
Oh, what I've been telling you for
Yes, what you've been telling me for years.
time.
I finally was able to witness it. So it was just that we're very kind of shut off from one another. There's a lot of just anger.
So much anger in the world
right now. And it was to kind of step back and just say, we're all in this together. We're all connected. My actions influence your actions. Someone we don't know on the street influences. And we're all here on this world together. And it was seeing that connectedness. I'm very scientific, very medical. Like, combo for me prior was, these are the peptides that are involved in it. This is the science behind it. Coming back afterwards, it was, I'm connected to it. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to be here. And I never really believed in that part. I remember Air kind of gave me a little bit of this.
Yeah.
So I remember her, one of my purges I had.
Yeah.
So I remember kind of feeling it. Combo sits in your belly and you're like, oh, I don't feel good. And I remember opening my eyes and Air didn't touch me at all, but I remember pulling.
Yeah.
And I felt a string and everything came up and she wasn't touching, just doing this. And it was that connection, she can tap into that. I haven't been able occasionally, but she is definitely much better at it. So, but there is that other aspect of that. And from being so closed off, I remember it's still frustrating. I wish I would have seen this prior.
It's all in divine timing.
But yeah, with Team Sapo, the protocol that they have is absolutely like I can't rave about them enough. For
it's really exciting.
What it's done for me, what you're going to be able to do with the spouses as well too.
I feel like we're just like exploding in so many ways, like at Blissful, with Teen Sapo, with Sunshine, like with, Combo for You. We just really have.
It is, retirement is amazing.
Busier than.
Yeah, but I love it. So like the combo part of it, I love doing that. I love being busy. It gives me the energy to do all the other things that we do. Whether it's redesign the room, have a website being built. Yeah. Just helping out here for a Wicked event or whatever else you need me down here for.
We just do a lot. And so, but I think that everything that we're doing is help support so many people and really just allowing us to grow together. And as a couple, as like we are now paving a way in a different way. Yeah. And now that you've seen behind the curtain, you get to understand and play with me maybe a little bit more of like...
I will say you allowed some of that sunshine to kind of hit me. That sunshine that you brought with you, that spiritualness, and it's infected me. And it's infected. Yes. I'm stuck with it now. So, but it's branched out and it's touching a lot more people with your one thing with Combo is spread out with everyone.
Well, we're about to wrap this all up. So is there any final things that you would like to share? I think like we've really bounced around a little bit about our whole experience and talked about things that are really personal to us and what all are we about to start doing more, just more Combo, I feel like. For
us, just continue to build this place. Yeah. So your shop here has allowed me to do Combo. Yeah. I have a room that
you do
here that we can do that.
I need to paint it.
Yeah, and it fits very well with what this place has become for mental health and wellness and well-being and just letting it out there and trying new things. So,
well, thank you for being my very first person.
Thank you.
That was really exciting. We went on for a while, and I know that we'll be back together and talk a little bit more. So.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have fun.
I'm excited. I know you're about to go take a test, so enjoy.
Yep.
Thanks. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. It was exciting for us to open up and share a little bit about our journey in our relationship with different medicines and where we're going next. So I appreciate it. Keep listening and follow along. Thank you so much. Everyone, have a blissful day.